Sometimes life doesn't change slowly. Sometimes it changes in a moment. On the day you finally decide you're done being the old version of yourself. You wake up, look in the mirror, and something inside whispers, "Today is the day. Not next week. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Today." Because readiness isn't a moment you wait for, it's a moment you create. And in the next 24 hours, if you choose to engage with intention, honesty, and courage, you can begin building a better, stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Not a perfect version, just one that is undeniably upgraded. This is the story of what happens when a single day becomes a turning point. When you use every hour, every breath, every action to step forward instead of backward. When your mind stops drifting, your emotions stop controlling you, and your habits begin shaping the life you want instead of the life you fear. This is the blueprint for a personal reset. Not a fantasy, not magic, but a method grounded in clarity, discipline, and momentum. It is the same approach thousands of people across America are using to turn struggling lives into stable ones, and stable ones into successful ones. And now, it's your turn. Hour 1 begins the moment you open your eyes. Before touching your phone, before letting the world seep into your mind, you breathe deeply, slowly, intentionally. You acknowledge that you have been carrying stress, confusion, frustration, and old identity patterns that no longer serve you. For the first time in a long time, you allow yourself to release them instead of holding them like anchors. You decide that today, you will be awake. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. You remind yourself that nothing in your past has the right to dictate who you choose to become in the next hours. As hour 2 arrives, you step out of bed and into motion. Movement is energy, and energy is clarity. The body influences the mind more deeply than most people realize. A sluggish body breeds a sluggish spirit. A tired posture creates tired thinking. So you start with simple movement, stretching, walking, breathing exercises, anything that increases circulation and signals your brain. We are alive, alert, and ready. This physical activation awakens your mental drive. You begin feeling more intentional, more capable, more present. Hour 3 is dedicated to hydration and nourishment, not emotional eating, not rushing through breakfast, but deliberate fueling, choosing foods and drinks that align with the stronger version of yourself you're building. This is where discipline begins to take shape. Every choice you make today becomes a message to your future self that you are serious. You are committed. You are not playing the old game anymore. By hour 4, you sit down with pen and paper. Because the mind becomes powerful when thoughts leave the head and enter the real world. You write 3 things: who you have been, who you choose to become, and what you need to do today to begin closing that gap. You do not write pages of complicated goals or dramatic fantasies. You keep it simple. You identify behaviors you are done tolerating and habits you are ready to embody. You create a blueprint for the day. This isn't journaling for inspiration. It's strategizing for transformation. Hour 5 becomes a purge of the unnecessary. You clean your space, your physical environment, yes, but also your digital environment. You delete old messages, clear notifications, organize your workspace. Physical order creates emotional order. People underestimate how much clutter weakens focus and self-worth. But as you clean, something subtle happens. You feel lighter. Not because the room is clean, but because your identity is becoming clean. This is the first moment you feel the shift. Hour 6 demands silence. You sit still, no noise, no distractions, and you listen to yourself. You observe the worries that rise. You observe the insecurities that tighten your chest. And then you recognize the truth. Most of these fears are illusions created by old patterns, not realities created by your potential. In this silence, you learn the difference between who you think you are and who you actually can be. You realize you've been living with mental noise that has robbed you of inner power. Today, that begins to end. Hour 7 through hour 10 introduce deep work. For the next 3 hours, you focus on one meaningful task, one project, one responsibility, one dream seed that has been waiting for your attention. You work without scrolling, without pausing, without switching tabs. This period becomes the backbone of your transformation. You experience concentration the way successful people live it, undisturbed, intentional, fully immersed. And somewhere during these hours you feel pride, not the loud kind, the quiet kind that fills you like warmth. The kind that whispers, you are capable, you are stronger than you thought, you belong in the life you are building. The Hour 11 is for nourishment again, food, water, and gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Because you must anchor this new energy to a positive emotional foundation. Gratitude shifts your internal chemistry. It rewires how your brain interprets your life. You begin noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. You begin recognizing possibilities instead of problems. This shift, subtle but powerful, becomes one of the reasons your transformation will last. Hour 12 is for learning. You read for 30 minutes. A book, a biography, a course. Something that adds knowledge to your ambition. You are feeding your mind the nutrients required for growth. When you learn, your perspective expands. When your perspective expands, your future expands. This hour builds your mental sharpness. Hour 13 invites strategic discomfort. You do something difficult, exercise intensely, take a cold shower, tackle a hard problem, or have a conversation you've been avoiding. Not because discomfort is enjoyable, but because your identity grows when you face what you once avoided. Every time you do something hard, your brain updates your self-image. If I can do this, I can do more. By the end of this hour, a deeper confidence begins to settle in your system. Hours 14 through 16 focus on productivity and contribution. You handle responsibilities, work tasks, personal errands, commitments that weigh on your mind. Completion builds momentum. You stop procrastinating. You stop escaping. You step into adulthood with dignity and direction. You also find one small way to help someone else today, because contribution strengthens identity. A better you is also a more generous you. Hour 17 is reflection. You review your progress, what you've done, how you've behaved, who you are becoming. Reflection is the glue that allows growth to stick. It teaches you to observe your new patterns and appreciate them. This self-awareness becomes a powerful force in your transformation. Hour 18 brings relaxation, not laziness but purposeful recovery. You rest your body, calm your mind, and release tension. Growth requires recovery. Strength requires restoration. This hour renews your energy for what comes next. Hour 19 is future architecture. You take out your notebook again, and you plan the next 7 days. Not a detailed schedule, just the habits and commitments that will preserve today's momentum. Transformation is not built on emotional highs, it's built on structured repetition. Hour 20 is for connection. You talk to someone who uplifts you, someone who makes you want to be better. You avoid toxic people. You avoid draining conversations. You invest in relationships that align with your future identity. Hour 21 is digital boundaries. You set rules for your phone, social media, apps, and notifications. You reclaim your attention. The greatest currency of the modern age. You choose what deserves your focus and what must be blocked. This hour protects your mental sanctuary. Hour 22 is self-respect. You review the promises you made to yourself today and recognize that you kept them. This builds a rare kind of confidence. The confidence that comes from integrity. When you trust yourself, your entire life elevates. Hour 23 turns inward again. You sit with your thoughts, your desires, your goals. You ask yourself who you will be tomorrow. You visualize a stronger, healthier, wiser version of yourself. You feel it, believe it, embrace it. Hour 24 ends the day with a ritual of closure. You prepare your space for sleep. You slow your breathing. You thank yourself for choosing change. And as you close your eyes, you know something undeniable. You are no longer the same person who woke up this morning. You became stronger. You became clearer. You became intentional. You rebuilt your identity, 1 hour at a time. And tomorrow, you won't be starting from zero. You'll be starting from upgraded, because 24 hours were all you needed to begin changing your life.